A group of killers made one mistake. They took the life of an innocent girl in front of her father. But the man they thought was just another victim is about to become their worst nightmare. With nothing left to lose, he's ready to hunt them down one by one and make them pay in blood. The film opens with the Duncan family joyfully celebrating their daughter's birthday, highlighting their strong and loving connection. In the present day, William and Kat are playing softball, sharing a meaningful father-daughter moment through their favorite game. However, at dinner, her parents express concern that Kat is prioritizing sports over her studies. Even so, Kat insists she can manage both and is confident she will win their upcoming match. Elsewhere, inside a strip club known as The Den, the infamous street gang called the Fetter Boysners enjoy the sinful atmosphere. At the same time, their boss and father, Donnie, is brutally assaulting a man and ultimately kills him without mercy. Soon after, his two sons arrive, Rory, the older one, and Danny, the younger. Danny declares that he is finally ready to join their illegal operations and is handed his first gun, marking the start of his criminal path. Back with the Duncans, William and Kat go out for tacos to celebrate their victory. William steps inside a Mexican restaurant to order while Kat waits alone in the car. Unfortunately, their lives take a tragic turn as soon as the Fetter boys show up. They quickly drag her out of the vehicle, and she begs for her life, offering everything she owns. Sadly, her innocence means nothing, as she is treated only as Danny's initiation task to officially join the gang. Danny shows no hesitation and immediately proves his willingness to go through with it. Without any remorse, he kills Kat, and by the time William hears the gunshots, it is already too late. William rushes outside and attacks Danny. Danny knocks him unconscious, but is still apprehended by the police. Soon after, William and Jen receive the devastating news of their daughter's death and struggle deeply with their grief. Additionally, the outcome of justice is disappointing, as Danny is only set to receive 5 to 7 years in prison, which feels extremely unfair to the family. He does not even plead guilty to Kat's murder, as the defense claims William suffered a concussion during the fight, making his testimony invalid. William feels angered and shocked at how flawed the situation is. Even so, he reluctantly agrees to the plea deal for the sake of the case. During the trial, William changes his decision to press charges after deciding to take justice into his own hands. He allows Danny to be released and secretly follows the gang to Danny's home. Sitting in his car, William waits until nightfall to carry out his plan. A short time later, Danny steps outside, and William gives in to his darker instincts. Without hesitation, he drives his car straight into Danny. Then, filled with rage, William uses a bat to finish him off before leaving the scene. After returning home, he quickly cleans his car and disposes of all evidence connected to the crime. Afterward, he has a brief conversation with his wife, who is watching an old family video. He feels stunned and emotionally overwhelmed, realizing he has done something irreversible that can never be undone. Elsewhere, the Fetter boys return to their club. Rory hands Donnie the money they have collected from the streets, but Donnie remains displeased with the amount. He warns Rory that he will not be so forgiving the next time he falls short again. Shortly after, he receives the devastating news about his brother's death. They rush to the crime scene, and the reality hits him as his world collapses upon seeing Danny inside a body bag. His trusted companion and beloved brother is gone. The following day, Detective Chen visits William as a possible suspect. Although William appears tense, he firmly denies any involvement. Jen then backs him up, stating that he was home the previous night. However, once the police leave, Jen questions him. They argue, and William feels insulted by her suspicion. Frustrated and hurt, both of them struggle to understand each other as they continue grieving their loss. At the club, Rory becomes determined to find and kill Danny's murderer. He orders his men to track down the person responsible, who they identify as William based on Luna's description. The next day, Rory and Henley spot William working on his laptop outside a cafe. They take the chance to ambush him from behind by quickly closing in on him. Fortunately, William reacts in time and fights back. He attempts to escape but ends up caught, struggling to hold on for his life. However, using his skills and experience, he kills Henley and manages to escape again. He flags down a passing police car to report them, but Rory slips away smoothly despite his criminal history. After arriving home, William feels unsafe and quickly secures the house. Jen suggests contacting Chen for protection. At the crime scene, the police discover that the victim is another member of the Fetter boys, making it a serial case. Chen receives a call from William and meets him at the Duncan residence. There, Chen confirms his suspicion about William's involvement. He makes it clear that William has started a war with Rory by taking revenge on Danny. He also reveals William's Marine background, recognizing that he can defend himself. Even so, he agrees to William's request to protect his wife by placing a squad car outside their home. After that, a car smuggler named Dante arrives at Roche's illegal auto shop and begins selling smuggled car parts on the black black market. He offers them a car in exchange for cash, but instead receives a bag filled with high-grade guns that he can sell for a large profit. That night, William admits to Jen that he killed Danny in revenge for their daughter. Suddenly, the squad car leaves after a bottle is thrown at them, allowing Rory and Donnie to enter the house. Their brief introduction and small talk quickly turn into violence, leading to Jen's death and William being shot to the ground. Lying in a pool of blood, William still manages to call 911 as the Fetters leave. The next moment, he finds himself in the hospital, now without his wife. Emotionally shattered and physically weak, he attempts to escape, expressing that he no longer wants to live. Even so, the medical staff continues doing everything possible to save him. Once he calms down, Chen visits him and calls him a miracle survivor. He tells William they will announce his death if he agrees to focus on recovery. He also urges him to return to a normal life, showing sympathy for his loss. After several days of therapy, William finally regains his ability to walk and immediately puts his escape plan into action. He disguises himself in a janitor's uniform and leaves the hospital without difficulty. Later, he stays at the Western Motel, where Dante is also present, and notices him stealing someone's suitcase. The next day, William withdraws his money from the bank. Dante can no longer hold back his curiosity, so he offers help after learning about William's conflict with the Fetter boys. At first, William is unsure, but he eventually asks Dante where he can get a gun. Dante then proudly reveals his collection of firearms in his office. He shares a past encounter with the Fetter boys, where he was shot in the shoulder and lost his cousin. He also makes it clear that he wants to help because they share the same hatred toward them. In the end, William purchases all the guns, the ammunition, Dante's old jacket, and a car as the beginning of his revenge plan. Soon after, he goes to an open field where he trains his shooting accuracy and spends days preparing himself to face the Fetter boys. When the time finally comes to carry out his plan, he visits his family's grave and pays his respects. The pain of a husband and father cannot be healed and can only end through revenge. That night, he prepares to target Zach, Rory's right-hand man. He sneaks into Zach's house and finds him heavily distracted while playing a video game. William attacks immediately, leading to an intense hand-to-hand fight. He struggles as Zach's size and strength begin to overpower him. Fortunately, the situation shifts, and Zach eventually begs for his life, pleading for the sake of his daughter. However, William shows no mercy in his revenge. Hours later, the police discover Zach's lifeless body, prompting Chen to visit Donnie's office and warn them. He reveals that their conflict with William is not over, as he is still alive, despite what the public believes, and is clearly behind the killings of Rory's men. He then explains that he is there in good faith to end the war and advises Rory to disappear for a while. After their tense discussion, the Fetters ignore his warning and continue doing what they do best, hunting William once again. Outside, William sees Chen leaving the den and immediately becomes suspicious of him. He feels betrayed, believing that even the authorities he trusted are ignoring their crimes, which deepens his anger. He then sneaks up behind Chen with his gun, and they enter the house together. There, William accuses him of being a traitor and criticizes him for failing to protect the community. Chen explains that the Fetters have protection within the system. Still, Chen stands firmly against William's killing spree. The situation feels deeply ironic since they cannot even hold the Fetters accountable. William then warns Chen that everything will soon come to an end, but if Chen interferes, he will kill him as well. The following day, Donnie orders Rory to finally eliminate William, and they immediately set out. Unaware of them, William had already anticipated their next move and waited inside his car parked outside the club. He pretends to be drunk and silently takes down the bouncer. He heads straight to Donnie's office, catching him off guard. Donnie already understands what is about to happen, so he tells him to just finish it. William starts talking about the intense feeling he experienced the first time he killed someone, Danny. But at this moment, he feels nothing at the thought of killing Donnie. He asks if Donnie felt the same emptiness when he killed Jen. In an instant, he ends the life of the infamous Donnie Fetter. William then grabs Donnie's phone and calls Rory. Without any emotion, he informs him of his father's death, yet Rory shows no reaction. He does not even flinch. The Fetter boys quickly rush back to the club and chaos erupts as they begin hunting a man believed to be dead, no longer William, but a monster like them. Inside the office, they see Donnie's lifeless body. However, Rory shows no emotion and appears disconnected from his father. Even so, they are not there for him, but for William. Suddenly, William's voice comes through the speaker, telling them he is still inside the club, and the hunt begins. At first, he sings them a lullaby, but the situation quickly turns violent as a gunfight breaks out. He captures one of Rory's men and threatens to kill him, but Rory shoots his own man instead. William manages to escape, though he suffers a shoulder injury. He drags himself up the stairs while Dante watches him struggle. At the same time, Luna reports William's location at the motel. Soon after, Rory arrives with some of his men. They ask the front desk for William's room but get no answer, so Rory kills him without hesitation. William continues fighting alongside Dante, attempting to shoot them first. However, they are clearly outnumbered, forcing them to leave the motel while exchanging gunfire. As night comes, the shootout continues. Dante struggles to shake them off along the tracks, so he calls his friend Roach, who agrees to help and lets them into the garage. Just in time, time, they turn into the garage, where Roach's crew fires at Rory's vehicle, forcing them back. However, Rory wastes no time and drives straight through the garage. Even so, Rory comes out nearly unharmed, while Dante and William are injured. Rory angrily expresses how unfair Danny's death was, saying he loved him and that he did not belong in that kind of life. As Rory is focused on his brother, William takes the chance to grab a screwdriver and stab him in the neck. With that, Rory dies quickly, leaving a final expression that William will never forget. Shortly after, sirens are heard, and Dante escapes as the police surround the area. The police see the brutal scene but consider it a victory since the Fetter boys are finally gone. The movie ends with Chen approaching William, who surrenders himself to be arrested. However, he soon takes his last breath after successfully taking down the notorious gang in his community at the cost of his own life. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.